Welcome to the 20-Minute Gamer channel, Marines. We're back with another tactical breakdown. Today we are looking at the last engagement in Refinery. I'm talking about that swarm that happens right at the end where it's you and Harper and the ARC. So we're going to go ahead and break down my thought process on that, what I think I did good, and ultimately what I think I did wrong, what I could do better on. Let's go ahead and jump into it. So let's go ahead and break down what we know is going to happen. We know that we're going to be swarmed by these three hives. There's three hives on this particular map. This map area, all right? So there's three hives here. We know that we're going to be swarmed by runners, drones, and I'm pretty sure I've seen warriors on this one. So my first thought process is, of course, to make sure that I at least have motion trackers, and we'll give ourselves a little bit of an advantage. We'll throw one mine in front of each one of these particular hives. So that's what we did here first. That's what you can see us doing here first. Once we get that taken care of, we head toward the console. Now, once we're at the console, we start to kind of set things up. Now, I have 4 turrets that I have the ability to go ahead and operate with. Now, I know that the Xenos are going to be coming at us primarily from the south. I've got 2 hives to the south. I only have 1 hive to the southwest. That being said, I still wanted to make sure that I had proper overlap of all of my turrets. So you can see the way I've kind of set them up here. I really feel like I did a decent job of setting up the overlapping sectors of fire. I've got 2 turrets for the most part facing the southwest area, but the majority of them still seem to be able, I've got 3 out of the 4 still able to kind of have crossfire for the 2 hives on the actual on the south there. Now, at this point in time, I felt comfortable enough to go ahead and call the elevator. There really wasn't much more that you can do in this particular setup. I mean, there's a lot that happens in this engagement. Let's not kid ourselves here. But as far as setup goes, there probably isn't much more that I'd be able to do. So let's go ahead and roll that footage. All right, so right about here, I realized, you know what? Things are a little overwhelming. We're doing fine, but it's time to kind of burn some command points. So looking at the situation, I decided it's time to go ahead and use the incinerator. Now, this is actually what I would classify as my first main issue, my first kind of big cock up. Okay, what I did was, unfortunately, the way that I laid my firewall down from west to east, it actually pushes the Xenos away from the engagement zone of my turrets. And that's not what I wanted to happen. What I wanted to do was ultimately kind of slow down the Xenos and provide them with, I wanted to limit their access. I wanted to limit their range, and I didn't do that. All I did was funnel them into a really, really tight corridor. It sounds awesome. You're like, yeah, like get them all going in one direction. Like that's what you want to do. It's not. When you have this many Xenos and you're on hard difficulty, I can't even imagine this on Nightmare. You want them to still be a little bit spread out. You want that firepower actually to be a little bit more spread out, okay? What I wound up doing here was I concentrated their movement all into the west. So they started to flood me from the west. You can see that right there, man. I mean, they're just flooding. They are going to absolutely flood my team. They snuck in as I was kind of doing the firewall. They snuck in, and it's just a bad situation for my team. Now, don't get me wrong. I was able to still control their flow a little bit, but you can see none of them are approaching the other turrets. All of them now, and I now have 1 turret because of it that got knocked out. All of them are rushing through this gangway. Hey, it's great. I am so glad that Harper is there with the ARC. He was my saving grace. All right, so we've gone ahead and used tactical analysis. and we're going to go ahead and activate suppressive fire on our smart gunner. Now that suppressive fire does loads for us. The Xenos do slow down a little bit, and he's going to maintain that suppressive fire down that lane. Now, one thing that I learned here on this one is that when you activate suppressive fire down a certain lane, your Marine still engages elsewise. The only thing that changes is down the lane that you've selected activates the suppressive fire perk. We're also going to go ahead and pick up a couple of our sentry guns here. It was kind of a bad decision on my part. I knew that we were close to getting out of here, and I did not, when I first played this mission, I was not prepared for the quick way that they pick up and go at the end of this mission. I think one thing that they need to go ahead and change is make it so that you have to go to the Ark and extract. That way you can kind of collect any gear that you've left, but you just kind of leave. All right. So right about here, we are hit with another massive wave of Xenos. They are pouring through right now. The Ark is covering the best that they can. Our suppressive fire is working. And like I was saying earlier, you can see the smart gunner is engaging the runner coming from the east. He is no longer paying attention to the suppressive fire lane. He is monitoring other avenues of approach. If he has line of sight on a Xeno, whether it's from the north, south, east, or west, it doesn't matter. That lane for suppressive fire just means that he will only use suppressive fire down that lane. All right, so this was going to be a little bit of a pickle. Everybody is in some good health, and we finally have a Crusher on the scene. I knew there was a Crusher coming, but I also knew that we had Harper. So I know Harper's kind of chewing away at the Crusher right now, but these are big boys. My team cannot maneuver out of the way. Unfortunately, we're stuck. We are 100% stuck. My team has Xenos coming from the south right now. I've got 2 runners, and I've got a Crusher. We are going to eat this damage. Now, the flamethrower did a really nice chunk of damage to that Crusher. Quite honestly, it was fantastic. We got it off just in time. We got it off with enough time left over that we were able to do the damage. I think we've all had experiences with Crushers and Xenos where those actions get interrupted, and once they get interrupted, we kind of feel a little bit fucked, right? Well, we weren't in that kind of a situation. We got off some good flame. Crusher is still, the Crusher is minimal health. I mean, he's going down at the exact same time we were using the incinerator. Harper was still going balls out with that trigger. Thank God he was there. Crusher is laid out. My team is weakened. Ruiz, he's in bad shape, but he's not down. He's not out. Thank God for that. We managed to survive with everybody. I know we're going to have some health concerns here, but we are out of all med packs. We're out of all tools. We have no command points. This cutscene could not have come at a better time. If there was a third wave, my team was not going to make it. So that's my breakdown. That's my tactical breakdown of the swarm in the refinery. Hope you all enjoyed this one. It really was. It was a hell of an experience. I tell you, Ruiz held it together. Thank God. I really needed him to level up. He's one of my best gunners right now as well. So let me know what your thoughts were on this particular mission. How did this engagement go for you? Drop some comments down below. I will see you on the next one, Marines. Nick out.